You're listening to the Oh My God podcast. Here, we talk about all things godly, all things womanly, and nothing is off limits. I am Zelda Lebowitz, your host, and together with my special guest, we will begin to uncover and discover what it really means to be a Jewish woman today. See you inside. Karen, welcome to the Oh My God podcast.
Thank you so much.
It's such a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, I'm so happy.
I'm so excited for this conversation.
Not only am I happy, but I'm like, while I was driving, I'm like, you brought me to a piece of Gan Eden. I was driving and I'm like, where am I going? And you should know that I was always scared to drive a long time ago until I drove to Tzfat a few times. You know, when you go to Tzfat? And I drove to Tzfat when there was, how do you say, when there's no, you see my English?
It's okay. It makes it more mysterious.
But I did drive to Tzfat when there was no visibility.
Oh, visibility.
That was like intense.
Wow.
But since then, I can drive anywhere.
Oh, wow.
So while I was driving here, I was like, a sharp turn. It's all good.
So good. Yeah, there's a lot of sharp turns
I
there.
love it.
So it's like the tension creates the expertise, you know?
And the direction,
like it helps,
exactly. Yeah. So I came here and I'm like, I can settle down and enjoy really a lot of beauty.
I'm happy. I'm really happy that you came, that you made it. I know it's going to be a special conversation.
I'm sure it is. It already is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's start by going a little bit back to your journey, how you came to be who you are. Mm-hmm. And I know right now you're an amazing woman. You're really inspiring on Instagram. I love watching your videos.
I love watching you too.
Thank you. You're a yoga instructor or teacher. Yeah. Which is so inspiring to find the time and to do it. I just love watching you. But before we get to where you are today, if you could just take us a little bit back to where your Jewish journey started. I'm
laughing because I'm like, I can say that I'm 55, so there is really a journey, right?
Yeah.
And there was a journey already when I was 40 or when I was 30, but now I'm like, it is a journey.
Wow.
So yeah, the journey, I guess, with, let's say, Judaism, right, was that I didn't grow up. We said we're not going to use religious.
Right.
We're going to, use connected.
I love that.
But I was always connected. That's the truth. Because when you're not in a Jewish environment, your Jewishness becomes more important, right? So it was important for me to wear Magen David. It was important for me to say, hey, I'm Jewish. To let people know that I'm part of your tribe, but I'm still a little bit different. So that was a little bit my youth, if you want. My parents are from Morocco, so it's a very wild, colorful, big party. This is what it was. Like it was, they came from Morocco, they went to France, they came here, and it was all about having people over, going out, the fanciness of the clothes, the makeup, the hair. This is where I come from. Wow. My mother always had boutiques, so it was always about the clothes and how do I look exteriorly, right? At the same time, very Pnimut in her healing, always using natural stuff, massages, whatever you want, astrology, everything like that was more like kind of opposite, right, with her lifestyle.
Right.
So it wasn't a lifestyle that attracted me really, because I wasn't about that,
flashy.
Yeah, I wasn't about that. And I used to love poetry, different kind of music, being by myself, reading. So it kind of didn't match. And the people around me were not really Jewish. In the summer, they were Jewish because in the summer, where I lived, there was a few Jewish kids. But my connection was not with Jewish kids, really. Until I always say, how do you say when you have a flower and you take the flower away from the earth?
Oh, pick it?
Yeah, you just pick a flower. So I felt that a lot of time in my life, I'm just picked and put in a different place. Yes. And in that place where I was put, I discovered young people like me. We were like in our 20s, cool Jewish people eating kosher. And I'm like, why are they eating kosher? Like for me, it was something from like, not even my parents, my grandparents, you're doing Shabbat? Why are you doing Shabbat? Like, why you're not like using your Saturday to do whatever you need to do, you know? And then I went, again, it's like really being called. And I kind of met the right people that were really inspiring. So this was my first path with a Judaism that was kind of in line with me. Of course, I went to Israel my summer. I had my family, you know, like the real.
And was that inspiring?
It was there, but it wasn't for me to be religious, connected, you know. So this was my path. And from there, it was all about making new decisions, being inspired by the people around me, especially women, right? I always have that thing of observing Jewish women, observing, you know, when, you know, before being married, observing the married woman, before having children, observing the mummies, right? Doing Shabbat, observing their Shabbat. So it was a lot of observation. And at my own rhythm, I created my teshuvah, if you want. And when you know that you're going to enter that world, covering the hair is a big thing, especially from where I come. So the covering of the hair was maybe like I didn't have to do it right away. I knew it was something in potential when I'm going to get married, but it was always there.
Right.
Right. And
you're saying this is what you observed before you were getting married?
Before getting married, I was, let's say, in my teshuvah, right? Starting to wear the skirt, starting to, you know.
But what actually started to get you to do those things?
I think listening to people that were deep and that were interesting. And I'm like, oh, I never heard that part of Judaism. Oh. I never heard that you could go deep.
Right.
What I heard is like, you know, flash, makeup, the best hair. I know it seems like...
That's what you associated religion with?
No, I didn't even associate religion. I'm going to tell you what I associated religion is that when I was hanging out with my non-Jewish friend, I had sometimes my mother bringing a rabbi telling me, you know, you have to get married to a Jew, you have to do this. And in my head, I'm like, okay, blah, 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 you know. But I knew that I had to get married to a Jew because obviously was very important, you know, for my parents, get an education, for sure marry a Jew. Right. And my thing was, but you didn't put me in a Jewish school. So how am I going to find a Jew that's going to be aligned to who I am, you know? And it's hard, by the way. And I don't regret. I love my school and I love that I was in that school because this is what made me. So no regrets at all. So when I went into that world, I had to learn everything. It was kind of exciting, right? Yeah. To learn the alphabet, to learn how to pray.
Right.
And I think that's the beauty of being about teshuvah is that you enter that world with excitement.
Right.
Not by force. Sure. I think that's the big word, right, that is out there. And of course you have the perfect Torah teacher that are here to inspire you, right, and to excite you. Exactly. So of course I was excited. Yeah. And I remember like telling my mother, first of all, was super happy. She's like, hallelujah. She's thank God, at least, you know, like when I told her I was going to start doing Shabbat, compared to, I would ask her 2 years before I'm going to go out Friday night, you know, for her it was like amazing. But it doesn't mean that I had
you guys did Shabbat at home before?
Shabbat was Kiddush. Because my mother, she would always say, you know, my grandfather, her father, so my grandfather was religious, so it was always there somewhere. Right. Did I have anyone religious in my family? Not really, not at that time. No, I was probably the first one that went into that world. Yeah, but it was exciting at that moment. Yeah. It was like, we were a whole gang.
Oh, you like a group of people.
Yeah, and Ashgacha, we didn't call each other. What about you? You know, it just happened organically. Right. That's how we say?
Yeah, organically, yeah.
And that was like awesome. Wow. So we kind of like met each other.
Wow.
So our, let's say late, I think I was 19, so early 20s was about that.
Wow.
It was about still having fun in that surrounding of like being in that direction, and a lot of talking, a lot of researching, a lot of like, and this was not in the Chabad world, by the way. Chabad world came after, you know. But for me, it was kind of exploring everything that was around me.
Oh, wow.
And I would come out of a shiur and be like in fire.
Wow.
Like I didn't understand how can you not be in fire when you listen to beauty.
Right.
It like was so perfect. It was so aligned.
Wow.
So that was my
you were
teshuva
always
moment.
probably a very spiritual person, but it was probably not something that you were exposed to.
I mean, yeah, maybe I was not exposed to it, I guess, in that, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, probably.
And when did yoga come in to your life?
After.
After.
It came in when I was very tired, having children, and I'm like, I don't have time to go to the gym. And I always tell my friend, I'm like, remember that yoga video that you forgot at my house? This became my savior.
Oh, wow.
Because at that time, videos were in style. Buying workout videos, it was a new thing, right?
Yeah.
So I used to put at night, my workout videos, like dance, and workout. And when I discovered that yoga video, you don't understand. Everyone has to see this video. It's on YouTube. Wow. It's I think her name is Ali McBeal or Ali McBee. I'm not sure. You know the movie Love Story? It's my time, but whatever. Yeah. It's a very like hard, sad movie.
Wow.
So it's the actress. Anyways, the video that they made, it was in the desert. So you see the whiteness of the sand, the blue of the sky, the music, everything is perfect. Wow. I did that video over and over again. And I remember when I had to travel to Israel for like 2 months, I'm like, how am I going to do it? So I learned it by heart for me to be able to do it there. And good old times.
I'm very curious with how, when you started to keep things.
Yes.
How did you understand hair covering? Was it like a shock? And was it something that you were immediately like rejecting, or something that you were like, oh, this sounds nice?
Yeah. So it was more like, that's the direction we have to take. Okay, let's start working on it now. Wow. And so I did. So
it was like
at this point, it was part of the teshuvah. You're doing teshuvah, well,
so you really
might have to cover your hair. So I didn't question the covering of the hair, but I was trying to understand it. Very hard to understand it. Because you had the spiritual aspect, trying, some rebetsen, trying to, trying to explain it. I really kind of, at this moment, I think that I jumped in and I accepted it. Wow. But I had to work on it because hair was important. I remember, first of all, I have to tell you, since we spoke, I don't know if maybe you told me this 1 month ago, the podcast, and I've been thinking about it a lot. I'm like, okay, I've been covering my hair for 33 years.
Wow.
So then, is it a habit? Is it something that evolved? First of all, I want to thank you for putting me in that spot, because I think that we need a renewal on what we're doing.
Right.
It shouldn't be a habit. It shouldn't be like, I'm covering my hair, okay. No. But it was an excitement for me. It was, I don't wear a wedding ring. Oh. This is...
For a specific reason, or?
Well, I wore it for sure at the beginning, and then I had kids, and then it was too annoying and whatever, and then I lost it.
Oh, okay.
But I like rings, but...
Right, because usually if someone says it, it's because they don't wear rings, but you do wear rings.
I know. I don't know, we could get into it, but whatever.
Yeah, it's okay.
All I mean is that I knew that when I cover my hair...
so it's nothing. It doesn't...
Yeah. Maybe it's somewhere in the house. And even if I would tell my husband, buy me a new one, I'm like, I'm not going to buy me 10 rings like this. I'll be happier, Actually, this one is the butterfly, and actually, he did buy it for me as a kind of a renewal. So when I wear this, it's more of a reminder.
Oh, nice.
So I felt that covering my hair would show the world that I'm married. That's my statement. Right. Another thing, covering my hair is I'm Jewish. No matter where I am, I'm Jewish. So imagine in that yoga world that wasn't Jewish at all, right? I would go in class. It took a long time for me to find the right head cover. There was no headband. Right. Those headbands are like a gift from Hashem. It was like crazy, the falling, this. Right. Until I find, and so I would go like in a non-Jewish space and have a scarf on my head. And in a way, it was again a proof that I'm Jewish, like in my school. Right. I wanted to tell people, I'm Jewish. This is my connection to who I am, whatever it meant. Right. Whatever it meant. So I had an excitement of covering my hair, for sure. And I got married, I was in university. I'm like, what am I going to wear? And I remember someone getting married, And she actually found, in the 90s, that was very hard, find a wig that was exactly like her hair. Oh. And I'm like, oh, I could do that. But I don't know why I didn't do it. I don't know what happened at that moment. I didn't do it. I went with the scarf, and it took me a long time to feel myself with the scarf. So Audie is Chabad, and in that world it was all about the wig.
You never had a relationship with Chabad before him?
Well, of course I did, because, you know, Hashem, the plans of Hashem, actually went to New York. I met him. We're not going out yet. And actually went to New York. We laughed, that program called Yeshivacation. But that was my first encounter with, was my first time going to New York.
Oh, wow.
And to the Rebbe, and to that whole world.
Right.
But I was still Sepharad. I'm like, okay, that's a beautiful world, but you're not going to take away my, if you want, connection with my Judaism, right?
Right.
But it was still beautiful. I met.
Like you felt like you can't be both. Either you're Sephardi
First
or
of all, you see how I speak English? This took a long time, okay?
Right.
At that time, it was all French.
Right.
So already I was in a world where I couldn't relate. But it was still beautiful
Right.
and amazing, and everyone goes see the Rebbe, and it's fantastic. Oh, and Audie is connected to Chabad, good. I didn't know I was getting married to him yet, you know, there
Right.
was something maybe in the air. So, but it was a good preparation. Right. So yes, when we did get married, I said, you know, I'm not going to wear a wig. At that point, it just didn't go
Right.
with, and again, I don't know how were your mother's wigs or whatever, it was a different
it was
style,
different,
you know?
sure.
Exactly. And I would tell you, the cool...
But the scarf was something that you were comfortable with. Is it
I
because
guess
it's
it
more
was.
common where you, like in the French, Sephardi?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe it was. Again, we were a small group at
Right.
that point. There wasn't a whole community. We were like really different.
Right.
We were really different. So yes, it could be that who inspired me, I don't know, I had both. I had the wig woman and I had the scarf
Right.
woman. Maybe this is where I got more connected. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, who wore scarves in my family? So not my mother, not my grandmother, my great-grandmother.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty far,
Yeah.
right? So for sure in Morocco, it wasn't about wigs. It was for sure about
Right.
scarves, the beautiful scarves
Yeah.
and, you know, fringes. And as you see me, okay, I think I'm like just dressed in black today.
Oh, I love
Not
that.
like
I love
too
your
much
style.
colors, but I do like textures and colors more with scarves.
Right.
But they didn't sell those scarves at that time.
At that time, right.
Yeah, you had to
really source it out.
You had to source it out, yeah.
Wow.
And the wigs, by the way, they were nice wigs, but they were like the fluffy wigs.
Right.
I never had
A
that.
lot of it was synthetic, no? Or they were starting to come out with
they
human?
started to come out, yeah. Chevy came out maybe when I was close to my 30s.
Oh, wow.
Maybe it was there before, but that was a big thing for us. Like it's what looked more natural than,
Right.
you know. But So yeah, it was the scarf. And then you want to look good. It's hard to look good in a scarf when you wear a scarf every day.
Right.
You know, that's probably everyone
So the wig,
telling me.
you were feeling like that's not for you. Like from the get-go, you kind of felt it a little bit.
Maybe because this is more organic.
Like you're just covering your hair versus putting on
Versus
something,
having
someone else's hair.
Having hair that is not mine.
Right.
Now, don't get me
Yeah, it
wrong.
definitely feels more organic to cover it with a scarf.
For me, yes. So last week I tested. I'm like, okay, she's gonna ask me the question, the wig and the scarf, and so now if I think about it, I'm wearing a scarf, so I feel that there's something embracing me, right? If I think about it, if I take the time to think about it, but if you think now about your wig, you feel that you're wearing something, right? So in a way, if you believe that covering the head with whatever you want to is that sensation of being embraced, I mean, you have it with the wig and the scarf.
Exactly.
Just if you tap in. Now, if I look at myself in the mirror, I'm going to see myself with a scarf, right? When I wear a wig, I look great. I mean, I look 10 years younger. I love it, you know? So how did I start to wear a wig, by the way? It was the fall.
Oh,
It's to wear a fall, because I had nothing on my face.
Nothing on your face.
And even if I had my hair when I was younger, and at a point I used to hide behind my hair, by the way.
Oh.
You know?
Like bangs or?
Like the bangs and, you know, the hair.
Oh, interesting.
You know? And then at a point I started to open to that space. I remember someone telling me, you should cut your hair short. It's going to give you like some character. And I look at him and I'm like, crazy or what? We're gonna see my nose, my teeth, my face? No, my hair is like my protection, you know?
Wow.
It's my style.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
So, and now,
That's so
look at me at 55. It's
beautiful.
It's
yeah,
okay.
You look amazing.
It's tricky sometimes, you know, it's tricky.
It's interesting because in Chabad, like you know, obviously, the Rebbe really encouraged and pushed the wigs.
Yes.
And then there's so many from communities.
Exactly.
Like the Sephardi,
Yeah.
in Israel specifically also,
Yes.
where they are completely against the wig.
Exactly.
And it, you know,
Yeah.
what I think is that it's when you're a part of a community and you feel connected
Absolutely.
to a certain way,
Yeah.
then that becomes the holy way for you.
True.
And you know, there's Shivim Panim LaTorah. There's so many different ways to interpret the Torah, and I think that it's not about if this is wrong for me, then how is it wrong for them? No, it's right for them.
Yeah.
And I think that everyone has to check in with themselves to see what makes sense for me. You know?
That's why you're doing this podcast.
Right.
It's exactly that. Yeah. Yeah.
I think so, because I think people start getting like, you know, and also another point that I want to mention is a lot of people that want to wear their mitpachot or tichos, they don't really wear it the way you wear it or the way those community women in those Sephardi communities who are basically fully covered. There's a lot of, you know, even the way I wear my tichel when I'm not wearing a sheitel is like, my hair is like,
Okay, first of all, now it's
falling off.
It's going to move a little bit.
Right.
That's the truth. It's not going to stay here.
But every time I see you, it's kind of like, and I'm not saying it doesn't happen to you.
Because I just fixed it.
Okay, fine.
For Instagram. Oh,
Okay.
no, I'm kidding you.
No, but
I know exactly what you mean.
You know,
Yes.
like where their hair, like the tichel is up to here and all their hair is here.
Yeah.
That's a totally different tichel experience than someone who is really making sure that not one strand is
but
showing.
I'm not like this, you should know.
Right, okay,
and
fine.
I was laughing
I
about
always
this
see you
because
like that, but-
I know, so I'm so not like this. And so two things I want to say. I was connected to my Sepharad community, but Ali was connected to his Chabad community, right? So when I entered into his world, I was the only one with a scarf.
Oh, wow.
But again, it gave me that sense of being unique.
Right.
Like in my non-Jewish school.
Right, you're used to that. You like that.
I like
being
that.
different.
Yeah. When I go to Israel, I'm like, the same. You know?
Right.
How would I be if I lived in Israel? You know, I would wear the sheitel? No, I don't think so. But I'm just saying that there was this concept of like, how are they looking at me? But at a point, it was like, you know what? This is me. This is how I cover my hair. And, but at a point, I needed to have hair.
Right.
I needed to have something, not always the scarf. So I did go towards the wig. And it was fun. And it was great.
Right.
And, well, you know, obviously my sister-in-law works, you know, she sells wigs. And I always say, if she didn't sell wigs, would I buy a wig? Probably not. It wouldn't be my priority, you know?
Right.
But because she does, so the past, let's say 10 years, I did get 2 wigs with her. And I did feel amazing with those wigs. Wow. I really love it. So when there's a wedding.
Like a totally different version?
Yeah.
Which is cool in a way.
Exactly, in a way.
Cool
well, listen, it's like those women wearing like different wigs. I think it's so cool. I think it's amazing, you know? And we're not in a world where everything is square now. It can't be square anymore. That's it. We're over that. It has to be you are who you are and you're comfortable. So sometimes I do, I probably do it for my daughter's wedding, the fake eyelashes, right?
Oh.
So sometimes when I have it and I have the wig, it's like, and I'm like, you know, who is that?
Exactly.
So I don't like to be too different, you know? I want to be myself.
Yeah.
And when I teach yoga, I'm going to teach with my scarf more than with a wig.
Right.
So at a point I used to go teaching yoga, teaching in my Hasidic school. So I would take off, put my wig, go, which was okay.
Oh, you weren't able to wear this in the Hasidic?
I was, but I chose to. I thought maybe I'll be more, I don't know, serious with my wig, but no. It's not about the wig, I realized. And last year I decided I can't have the wig every day. First of all, we laugh, it's too much high maintenance for me.
Right.
You know, I used to wash my hair and just go out with my hair. Like I never did that whole, you know. So with the wig, you have to be a little bit.
You have to be a little bit more.
A little bit.
Which, by the way, that's kind of where I think the different methodology is. Meaning, I think that with the, obviously I'm just assuming, but based on my experience of working with the wigs for so many years, I think that women who are so overworked, have so many kids, are so busy.
Yes.
If the Rebbe didn't push the wig, and if the wig wasn't like normalized,
they would have
they would for sure do the tickle, but not like the tickles where like people are using it with style. Yeah, the tickle where you look like you have no face.
My kids, they laugh at me.
I have that when I wear the tickle.
Of course, and they're like, "Look, Mom, I look like you," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, this is how I look when I had like a whole bunch of kids."
Right.
Obviously.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
And
now
so
I
like
have
the
more
shaper
time.
kind of forces you to step into
You look
that.
great.
To that femininity
I love
also,
that.
you know, like the highlights.
Okay, so you said something very important. Exactly. How are you going to look feminine? Right. How are you going to look yourself? And I think this is the most important at the end.
Yeah.
And that's why I thank God there's people like you, because you can make someone beautiful and themselves. Right? So I don't feel myself completely when I wear a wig.
Right.
So I think this is why I come back to the scarf.
Right.
But how can I make myself beautiful with a scarf? It's not every day, obviously. So that's the joke. I'm like, what scarf am I going to wear for that podcast? You know, I have like thousands of scarves, you know?
Right, I'm sure.
I just took a few, and today I'm like, oh, I'm just going to choose you. That's it. That's what it is, you know? But I could have wear so many different colors.
Right.
So when I wrap my scarf, it became a ritual.
Yeah, wow.
And if it's Shabbat, maybe I'm going to enhance it with like little I wanted to bring it my little brooch, which I didn't, or something. So that's my ritual to cover my hair.
Right.
So what is your ritual? What is that moment? What is your intention right before covering your hair? Of course, it doesn't happen all the time, obviously, but it's
that's
kind
beautiful.
of, you know, and when I did go to Israel, and I observed all those women, you have everything. So you have the woman that covers their hair, and they leave their hair, and they have beautiful peyot. I don't know if you saw those, beautiful.
Yeah.
And then you have the women that wear kind of a wrap, but their hair is showing in the back. So for years I was like, that's not what they told us.
Right.
They told us the hair has to be completely covered. So I had questions, right?
Yeah.
Then you have the other one with the little cap.
Yeah.
You know, whatever it is.
Or even now with just a headband.
Exactly. And then you have the Hasidish with like a double head covering, and, you know.
It's so fascinating.
It's fascinating. So it's a whole world. So lately, I'm like, okay, I have to choose my world on a daily basis or on a season basis, if you want. So what am I going to wear? So now I'm going to have my daughter's wedding. I'm going to wear a wig. Absolutely. You know, because, you know, it's gonna be the theme but I could wear my
Have
scarf.
you worn scarves to weddings?
Probably, yes, for sure I did. Absolutely, because I didn't have wigs for a long time. I used to love to wear scarves, yes.
Wow.
I used to go to a fabric store to make our own scarves because we didn't have all those beautiful scarves then, you know? And we had the tichol, and I look at myself, and when it's, and then you see the gray hair, and you're like, oh, that's not what I want to look like, you know? So you adjust, and it's like getting dressed. Yeah. It's like snoot. It's like, how are you gonna be your own queen of Torah, Judaism, being connected? How are you gonna make yourself look in this world?
Right.
You know, how are you going to walk in this world? This is really what it is.
And I love that it's about like a personal choice. And I think that's what we're like a little bit disconnected from as a society level. That women we're so used to like going to the rabbi, asking our husband, going to this one, and it's like the answers are here.
We're not done already? I thought this was done already.
I feel like we're shifting. We're shifting.
Yeah.
And I think it's still shocking when I see how, even within myself, how much I'm still so conditioned to be wait, do I have the power to actually make that choice?
I know. It's unbelievable. And sometimes I'm like, maybe it's not even the right way. You know? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but at the same time, it is the right way. How can I feel, if I feel a prisoner in my own body, then that doesn't work.
Right.
So really, I have to say, it's going to be like a lot of people are going to listen to this. I have to say that I do uncover my hair from time to time. And I thought about it. I'm like, what's the reason? When do I uncover my hair? Interestingly enough, not when I teach yoga. When I teach yoga, I feel that this is part of my the look, right? But if I go away next to water, the wind, the trees, and I'm alone, obviously, I feel like I have to connect to that, I'm going to say nakedness. I feel that I need to feel the wind in my hair. And it could be that, is it because of the yoga or is it because of my whole youth? My whole youth, I mean, we grew up in a bathing suit. We didn't grow up like cover yourself ever. That didn't even exist, cover yourself, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know where it's coming from, but it's really in a place where I need to enter a little bit of freedom to be able to come back into that container that I'm living in.
Wow, interesting.
And I have friends, my friend, she went to Mexico and I'm like, I don't know what I asked her, but I'm like, you're wearing the same thing as like anywhere else? No, the new bathing suit, the scarf. She's like, yeah, I'm the same wherever I go. And I loved her answer. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not. I'm not the same wherever I go. I kind of connect to where I am.
Like camouflaging to where you are, you're saying?
Yeah, it's not camouflaging. It's more like adapting. So when I
like connecting to the elements of where you are.
When I'm in Tzfat, I'm in Tzfat.
Which, by the way, is a whole concept in itself, where it's like that the Milhag Makam. You know, like let's say we go now to Monroe.
Exactly.
It would be not tzlius to dress immodestly over there. Even if it's completely okay in my community to dress with my short sleeves. Over there, it would be considered immodest.
Of course.
And what's even more fascinating is that the tzlius, the actual laws of tzlius, are really up to the woman. Only in the Torah, it says only about the hair covering, interestingly enough, that from the Isha Sota. And somewhere it mentions about to uncover our thigh. But other than that, it's really about a woman connecting to her own inner modesty.
Absolutely.
And that's it. And I actually love that you're saying that every now and then you uncover so that you could come back into that container. Whether that's right or wrong is really not the question. I think what's amazing is that you are able, you know what works for you, and then you're able to do everything else with authenticity.
That's, I realized, was my and it didn't happen, I'm going to uncover my hair. It happened one day, we were like somewhere like in Florida, Destin, so it's like another side. And I look around me and I'm like, there's absolutely 0 Jewish souls here. And I'm just going to wear my cap and just feeling my hair. Oh no, I did it on the balcony. That's how it started, on the balcony. It's my balcony, you know? And it felt so amazing. So it's not like a need.
You mean you were wearing a cap?
No, on the balcony.
Oh, you take it off,
But again, just to
But it's not necessarily about Jewish souls or not. It's about men, no?
So at that point, it was about men, I thought. Is it really about men? I mean, it's...
What do you think?
It's a whole discussion, You
don't think it's about men?
The hair?
Hair covering.
Okay, so let's go in a different direction. That's my little spiritual connection of the covering of the hair today. Okay. First of all, covering the hair for me is a crown.
Beautiful.
It's a crown. Okay. It's a known thing. It's a crown that you're wearing, and that's why I love those women that wears like the big thing. I tried; it doesn't fit me.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. But it's a crown, and I'm all for women connecting to their queendom. That is a must. A must. Because that was a discussion in the 90s. Is my hair, so what's the difference if it's my hair, if it's a wig, I can be as beautiful with a wig, blah, blah, blah. We had 20 years of that discussion. That's it, I'm over it, that's it. The truth is, the tzniut is your personal energy, right? I mean, it's clear. You can be covered from head to toes, but still have a kind of connection with men that you shouldn't have, and you can be well, maybe not in a bikini, but you can be like, not tzniut and have a lot of boundaries. So that's what I'm saying, is it because of men? For sure, what I can tell you is that when I uncover my hair and then I recover it, it's like a little bit like if you have your, in the winter, you have your vacation. So you're in the, I don't know how it is here, but in Montreal, obviously winter is winter.
Hibernation.
And then you go to the ocean, it's like, a freedom, and then you go back to your world, right? And when we're in that freedom, you're probably like, oh, I would live here. Why do I live in Montreal, So you need that, I would say, cold, hot You need that right, left, that up, down. So it helps me when I uncover my hair to reconnect to myself. It's not about men, because first of all, I don't care at my age when I'm going to show my hair. No, my hair is nothing sensational right now. It's really for me. It's for the, and it's in specific spaces.
Right.
I'm not going to continue, but yeah, I did have fun in Mexico this year. I did extension.
Oh, wow.
And I did braids. And you know what it brought me? A freedom that I needed.
Right.
A freedom of 1 week that I needed. Having the braids, it brought me to something more tribal that my body needed at that time. If I would talk to someone else, she would tell me, what you're talking about, you know? But that was my moment.
Yeah.
So it's like opening a window and breathing the air and then coming back to, I don't know if it makes sense.
I totally relate to what you're saying because of just my journey in general after I got divorced. And I took off my wig even before my journey. And like being able to just wear my hair in a bun and, you know, and then when I got remarried, for me, it was like muscle memory to like put back my wig on. It was in a way almost unconscious. It was like, oh, I'm getting remarried. I'm going to wear a wig.
Exactly.
And for me, I had to really sit with it and be like, is this actually what I want to do? Is this really, you know, is this what I'm going to commit to now for forever?
Yeah. And aren't we allowed to ask ourselves the question? Aren't we supposed to?
For sure.
I think it's so important. Yes.
I had to make an intentional choice about hair covering.
Yes.
And that's really when I started to learn all about it.
Amazing.
Because I'm like, what is it about hair covering? And really
and you still sold your wigs.
And I was still, that time was the break, but my whole journey kind of exploded when I was actually, the first time around in my salon in Crown Heights, when I was just newly divorced, when I was actually dealing with this question all the time. I was like, I'm selling wigs, women are coming in, no one really knows why they're covering their hair. It's like, oh, my family, my mother, my community, this is how I was raised. And I'm like, I need something more. I need something more of like, but that kind of started my journey into just like questioning everything. And then I eventually stopped being religious completely. But my return, when I was more connected, and exactly, I was always still connected. Even in my fight, you know, even in our rebelliousness, we're still, even more so. I actually heard this weekend, someone said to me that in Lubavitch, the Rebbe says, we say a lot, like, Yerida l'tzarech aliyah, like you go down so that you go up.
Yes.
But he said that in Breslov, they say that the Yerida itself is the aliyah.
Yes. Both are amazing.
It's very interesting because it's like, you know, even it's the uncovering itself is first of all, the lower we go, the deeper we could go. The higher we could go, but also the depth itself is what is so expansive. So I think it's a lot of people could hear this and be like, oh my goodness, this is apicarsis, you know? But I think what they're missing if they feel that, and again, everyone should feel what they feel.
Everyone.
But what I think, what if anyone is going to be triggered by it, it's an invitation for them to look within themselves where they're not giving themselves permission to have freedom. And where they're forcing themselves a little bit too much. Because I've been there. I know I've been there.
You've been in that.
Where I'm forcing myself, like the perfectionist in me.
And it was like my choice. It was always my choice. So it's very different.
Yeah. Right.
My daughter has a friend actually that grew up, not Chabad, but in that, you know. So every time I say religious, I feel like it's so like, it shouldn't be religious. She grew up religious.
Yeah.
Anyways, whatever her story is, she left Torah. But she said something to my daughter. She's like, when I get married, I will cover my hair. And my daughter said, why? She's like, because it's the only mitzvah that no one forced on me.
Oh, wow.
How powerful is that?
Forcing is so
a big
bad.
No, it doesn't work.
Right.
You know, it works for certain people. Listen, I'm a teacher. I see the girls that have no problem, you know, respecting the rules, and the girls that have a problem. It's like so clear. So you do what's good for you. And believe me, a few years ago, I had my little judging from what I learned. Oh, she's not covering her hair. Oh, this. That's it. I took this and it's in the garbage. Right. Now I see the opposite. I'm like, oh, what a beautiful soul I see. What a beautiful Jewish woman I see. Right. And especially now, I think especially I don't know, since Corona, Instagram, whatever you want to call it, there's so many beautiful Jewish women, however they want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. If your path, as long as you find something that's going to maybe be, what's going to connect you, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
And even if you're not connected, so you're not connected at that moment, what can we do? I mean, it's who am I to say it's by covering your hair that you're going to be more connected.
Right.
You know?
I want to just hit what's so interesting about the part about uncovering is because last week or whatever it was that I recorded the other episode, the woman was sharing that she always felt that if she like looked into the future, that eventually she was always going to be a little bit modern, and she never imagined that she's going to wear like a full wig all the time, and she was always a little hesitant to like. She first did the wig with like her hair out and like, you know, it was in gradual steps because she always felt that once she does like the next step, there's no going back. Mm-hmm. So I think that makes a lot of us stay like stuck in a place because we're like afraid to take more things on. Yeah. But this experience that you're sharing kind of gives you that like feeling of, and by the way, there's so many ways to do it. Where it's totally, you know, if you're on the beach and there's nobody there, it's totally acceptable.
Well, yes and no. I'm going to tell you why. What were we taught? First of all, that covering the hair and snoot are two different. We said that two different paths, and covering the hair is really something so deep. And this is why a lot of Sepharad women, I'm not them, do cover every part of their hair. And you know the saying of like they would uncover their hair under a table or under the bed for no one to see their hair. Not me. Right. But, I don't want anyone from outside to see me, whatever. There's like different steps. And I have a friend, I remember she told us that during intimacy, she
covers her hair
with a wig. I hope a comfortable one. Right. But I'm just saying,
wow.
It's like a whole, how do you say, éventail? Whatever, it's
like a full, like a lot of different variations.
From like, you know, from your white spectrum to your black, a whole spectrum, thank you. A whole spectrum, and what makes me better or not, it's my path, it's what I want to be aligned with. Right. So that's what I wanted to say. There's a meditation that, I'm not going to do a meditation, but just maybe a visualization of the name of Hashem, right? The Yud, the He, the Vav, you see, and the He. We're going to separate them, you know. That meditation was taught to me, I don't know, second kid or third kid. It was to be able to give birth with intention. And I don't know if you heard about Mira Becerra. Thank God he was in our path. Thank God, because he was such a mentor of not being totally in the same path, because he was Sepharad. Right. And he was the whistler of the Rebbe. I'm sure you heard about
What's
him.
His name?
Meir Abesera.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll send you some links. Amazing. So his wife told me about this meditation, Claude. And this meditation, actually, you can really do whatever you want with it. So this is my version of it. So you start with the Yud. And the Yud is the potential of everything. The Yud is the smallest letter. It's the seed. It is not in you. It's here. It's like that connection with you and Hashem. And my husband was telling me actually that in the Sefer Torah, the Yud has a little crown. I don't know if it's all the Yuds, but I'm like, interesting, right? So the concept of the crown. Now, in that little letter, you can infuse your whole potential. So the second letter is the He. And the He is a breathing letter because there's space. And if you can think about a pulsation, the He could be that, like open and close, open and close. So this is your mind. And the Vav is the connection. Vav is always a letter of connection, right? So it's the connection, upper world, lower world, however you want to call it. The first He, the second He. And what is the second He? It's your womb. Oh. It's your hips. And so why is it amazing while you give birth? Because if you expand your mind, if you expand your expression, you're naturally expanding, the giving birth, right?
You're saying if you during birth, if you're naturally,
if you do like it does. It's a reflection. So I'm a lot into now when I teach yoga, a lot into those different energies. So you have the crown of your head, and you have, we're going to call it the pelvic floor, but it's really your perineum in my English. And those are two energies in the woman that, like, I just put my hands like this and I feel the energy already. Wow. It's constant energy. It's constant energy in between. It's constant energy from above and from below. So I was thinking the covering of the hair is a little bit having that, again, that crown and that embracing energy around my personal hay, right? We know that our thoughts can be very wild. We know that we can go deep into different direction, and we know that the hair is hollow, right? So there's energy going inside. Right. Just like the pores of our bodies, there's like constant energy going inside. So I was thinking that hay that is kind of protecting me or embracing me, instead of my energy being wild, it's going to be wild when I go away. Right. When I'm by myself, I need maybe. And that's why when you told me, do I wear a wig when there's a wedding? I love to dance. So it's fun to dance with hair. Oh. You know what I mean? It's fun to dance with your body. It's fun to dance with hair. But
to feel your hair.
Woohoo, you know? Yeah. But so that hair, that pulsation is kind of contained in the covering of my hair. So this is really how I see the
And we want to contain it?
So do we want to contain it?
That's the idea of the head covering, to contain the energy.
Do we want to contain it? You're right. Yes. Do I want to contain my
not
breath?
By birth.
What?
We don't want to contain it by birth, right?
So when you give birth, I see women giving birth with their head covering. And the containing is not something negative. It's allowing the energy to be in a direction.
Oh, channeling.
Thank you. Channeling. So when I teach my students to breathe, it's all about that. You can breathe however you want. But if you channel your breath, you're giving a direction in every part of your body, what's better? You know what I mean? When you're playing an instrument, if I'm going to go now on the piano or on the drum, I'm going to have fun, but I'm not containing anything. But the real drummer, there's a structure, there's a containment for it to sound normal and deep. So this is how I see covering of my hair today. Right. And so it means, I'm going to cover it. Do I want to cover the whole head? Do I want to cover part of the head? Do I want to not to cover it? Whatever it is. So when I told you, I teach a lot of women uncover their hair when they do yoga, right? And every time I'm like, no, it's part of what I'm teaching right now. Right. You know, so when I'm uncovering my hair, it's for me, it's for no one else. It's my own discussion with what's happening right now. It's like I said, it's feeling all the elements in myself, the water, the sun. This is what it is really for me. Wow. And not only that, so I'm going to add, I know we have to finish soon. Oh. I've been barefooting the whole summer, except when I go to like shopping. Right. When I go to public bathrooms, I'm not there yet. But
you're gonna be there one day.
No. But that's it. I have my shoes in my car. I'm like, bathroom shoes. Wow. You know, obviously. Yeah. No, but why am I saying this? Because a lot of women are like, ew, you're not like disgusted walking on the floor, you know. I'm like, I'm not actually. And what I discovered this summer is that my feet, the sole of my feet, have new antennas, which means that I'm aware when I'm walking on grass. We're all aware, but I mean, I can feel the transition going from one place to the other. Why am I saying this? Because you're supposed to cover your feet, right? You're not supposed really to walk barefoot, alpi what they taught us in Torah. Okay?
Yeah, you mean women specifically?
Said,
or
first
everyone?
Of all, the Rambam said, so I didn't yet, but maybe
the Rambam said women or everyone? I don't know. I didn't learn that.
Okay, we'll see, but we'll check. But for sure, covering your feet, right? I mean, that's.
I know the Rambam also, because he lived in a time where it was very Muslim oriented. Yes. Women were like covered from head to toe.
Again, exactly. So that's why that's really my own experience. But I know that, like I said, I never did it. I mean, yes, I did wear stockings when I work in a Hasidic school. I mean, now I wear very, very long skirts when it's very hot, you know.
Right.
But I remember wearing stockings because I had to, and I was like, okay, it's not the end of the world, but it's not me.
Right.
Like I won't do it because it's not me, you know.
Right.
So again, I feel that my feet are kind of wild right now.
Oh, interesting.
You know, like maybe the head. So maybe that's what it is to cover the feet, is to protect that energy. I have a lot of people talking about protecting that energy. And me, I'm like, I don't want to protect my energy. I want to be vibrant with my energy. But again, I come back to the breath. My breath is going to be much more powerful if I give a direction than if I give no direction. And interestingly enough, talking about the he, so the he for me is everywhere. It's like everywhere. It's that constant movement. And it's very feminine. Of course, the he is Hashem, right? But because of the womb, right? And because of that creative space, so you can really relate to that space.
Yeah.
So Adi was giving me his little parasha moment this Shabbat. And he said, let me remember, Na'ara. I hope. Na'ara means young girl.
Yeah.
I hope. And exactly. Nun Ayin Resh. And he said that it's written 14 times in this parasha because it's talking about different situations. If you have this, if you have that, what do you do? And it talks about the Na'ara 13 times without a he at the end. And the 14th time, there's a he. So when he told me this, I'm like, it made sense in my head. I'm like, oh, well, yeah. The he means she became a woman.
Oh, wow.
You know, and it was something this. Well, he spoke about
right, because it's like a virgin, right?
Exactly. So when you're Na'ara with a he, you can give birth. You're at the next step of exploring your wisdom as a woman. And I asked Adi this morning, I'm like, so if there's so much, how do you say, wisdom, right, in our hair and our mind, what about the men? You don't cover your hair fully. And he said, yeah, probably Bina. And I'm like, you're right, it makes sense. We have...
woman, and the woman is sourced from a different place.
Exactly. So again, if you want, this is how I would, finish this. My story is that if I'm covering my hair today, it's for sure, it's part of me, right? It wouldn't make sense for me not to cover my hair. Maybe one day, I don't know. But for now, it's part of who I am. And it's to have that presence.
Wow.
You know, when a lot of people, when they meditate, what do? They bring a shawl or a scarf. Because again, it's just to go inward. Right. That's what I'm saying. So, it's like the going outward and the going inward. And I think that's my teshuvah. And teshuvah, what is teshuvah? Tashuv he, coming to your he. So coming to your he is coming to your whole pnimiyut, your whole inner self.
Right. Wow.
Can't stay there though, you have to go in the world too, but it's a beautiful exploration of, like you said, before getting married again, asking yourself the question, what am I going to do?
Right.
My daughter's getting married and I told her, are we really covering the hair? Because I'm investing in a wig now.
Right.
I want to make sure, but like...
Right.
And really, do we really know? Until we married and we cover our hair?
And we try it, exactly.
We don't
and it's
really know.
It's a whole journey in itself of discovering.
It's a whole journey.
Yourself. Wow, I loved what you shared just now about the containment and about the hay and the how it's a mirror. Yeah,
constant mirror. And then you have the hay here, and I would say that it continues with your feet. Again, it's a constant. I mean, we are an energy. We are... my big thing is to come back to your center. So for this, you have to go up and down, like you were saying, exactly what you were saying. We're going down. We have to go down. Right. We have to explore that space. It's not comfortable. We don't like it. But this is where actually you discover yourself. And then imagine the jump that you can do high, but for what? To come into your center. Yeah. For me, it's coming into the center. I don't need to be high. I need to be in that center. My future, my past. And that's the beauty of being 55 or
it's amazing. I love it.
I'm very happy. And 55, and we just celebrated our 33rd anniversary, which just this is it's a miracle. Right. It's an exploration. Wow. It's for sure work. And it can only work by us women being aligned with who you are. And I'm working on it every day. This is my space.
Like authentically, like you're so authentic.
I'm trying. I'm not.
Of course, there's different parts of us that, and also the fact that you want to reject it.
Yeah,
but I'm saying the fact that you're able to be honest with your journey, where you are right now.
Yeah, because or else what?
And you say it so clearly how like, I don't know where I'm going to be, you know, in a few years, because how could anyone say they know where they're going to be, you know?
We don't know.
And that's the beauty. And if someone does know, that's a question in itself.
And it's okay. Maybe you do know, like maybe, like my friend that is herself wherever she goes in the world.
But when I say it's a question in itself, meaning there is a beauty in that, but it's like how much of that is a relationship.
Yeah.
And how much of it is like we're doing because...
How much you're in tune with yourself.
We're not in it, but it's like what's right.
But I respect that too.
It is. It's amazing that people could do that.
Yeah, because someone told me, talking about, it's funny because I heard 2 podcasts coming here, 3 hours, right? And someone spoke to me about ayahuasca. It's a big thing now, right? And she was telling me everyone has to try.
Right.
And I gave her a few names. I'm like, those people are never going to try ayahuasca. This is your path. This is your way, but it's not for everyone.
Right.
So someone that, or I work with the Hasidic community and I teach them yoga and I teach them math. So I teach those women yoga. I see beauty. First of all, I'm like, bravo. And I'm teaching them to be in tune with their body.
Right.
Very scary because they were not taught to be in tune with their bodies. So the ones that are coming, it's because they want to be in that, you know. And for me, it's a big revelation because, you know, like I put a song, Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah.
And someone texted me, oh, what's this song? And I'm like, I don't want to be the source of putting you into that, you know, that direction of like listening to goyish music, you know what I mean? But no, I respect everyone.
But of course there's respect to everyone, but I don't know, and of course everyone has their own journey and direction, but I don't believe that Judaism is meant to be devoid of connection to ourselves.
Yeah, well, not today.
Like all the mitzvahs, challah, lida, it requires our body, it requires our presence to do those things without any kind of...
That's the power that we have. Yeah, but certain women...
Even if they're in it, they wouldn't have that relationship.
It means that I see women in my community, they're there and they're like embracing it.
Right.
And I'm like, it's amazing.
Oh. That you're saying they feel that connection.
I mean, I don't know how much they feel it, but they still embrace it. For them, it's their role. It's their connection
life.
with Hashem. It's not like I'm doing it because I have to do it.
Right.
First of all, America, Canada, very different. Okay, very, very different. Even when I go to Sababa, I'm like, oh, we're really different. It's a different world. Okay, it's like we are a melting pot.
Montreal specifically, I think, because I think Toronto might be a little similar.
You know better than me.
I think so, because you guys, it feels like a different world.
You know what I said? I said to my daughter, I'm sure they had a lot of fun in Montreal, even if it was for that moment, because I'm like, I feel we are different. Yeah. But maybe we were not. I don't know.
I feel it for sure.
You know,
it was lovely. I loved it.
There's this.
It was such a special experience that night. It was amazing.
Really, come on. I mean, you know, and this is what I love about life. Life, even here, me driving 3 hours, I'm going to go back. Like it's again, it's that moment that was just picked for us.
Yeah.
And I love it. And
that's what it felt like. By the way, this conversation, I felt like we're just right here. That's it. It was, I think that this is going to benefit a lot of women to hear another perspective of a woman that is connected. And what does connected mean? Every moment is a new moment to form that connection.
It is.
And we don't, and so many of us, like you said so beautifully, like, is it a habit? Is it not?
Absolutely.
We all are full of habits.
Absolutely.
So it's like a constant reminder of what am I doing out of habit?
Absolutely.
And what am I doing from that desire? And that's what Hashem wants.
When we wash our hands in the morning, am I really thinking every day, oh, there is tuma? You know, but some people do. Baal Teshuvah does. Baal Teshuvah is so excited. Sure. It's like everything that you do, like you see spirituality everywhere. You see the hand of Hashem everywhere. So maybe that's why I still have it, because I come from that world. So for me, wherever I am, and you see, I'm pretty relaxed. I'm not the typical, even in my world, I'm not the typical, you know.
Which is amazing. We need more women like you who embrace their uniqueness.
Yeah, I think that's very important for me. Yeah. And I had to really, step by step, layers by layers, I had to be my own self. And I can't wait because I'm going to be more and more my own self.
That's beautiful.
And this is the direction that I'm taking.
It's so beautiful. It's such a good example to everyone, to your children and to everyone.
I know. You know, when I'm at Sababa, I'm like, okay, you're not a teenager, Karen. You are. the mother, the grandmother, but it's great. It's amazing.
So amazing to be able to see that and look up to it.
Well, I used to do the same thing. I used to look up to those women, and I was like, this is what I want. This is not what I want.
Right.
This is. It's like a platter all around us of choosing.
Of what feels aligned.
What feels. Would you say alive?
Aligned.
And
aligned and alive.
Exactly. Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you. This was so
we
amazing.
Made it, and I hope to see you again.
Yes,
wherever.
for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely. You need to continue putting out your videos.
Yeah.
It's like such beautiful nuggets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like realness. That's what I get from you.
Yeah, I try. Yeah.
Really special.
Yeah. And really, like I said, inspired by so many women around me. Yeah. And by the kids when they became teenager and they become older,
right,
in your
it's
face,
a whole other...
you have no choice than to be in that space,
right.
you know?
To be present in what's happening.
And to be real. Because if you're not real, they're going to see it.
Exactly.
Very clearly.
For sure, yeah.